everyone, welcome back. My name is Emma, and I'm from California. Today, I need to tell you about something that happened to me last week. Something really interesting. Have you ever had a problem with a neighbor? Yeah? Well, let me tell you my story. It was not easy, but I learned a lot. So, let me start from the beginning. I live in a small apartment building. It's a nice place. I've been living there for about 3 years now. My apartment is on the second floor. And right next to me, there's a new neighbor. His name is Tom. Tom moved in about 2 months ago. At first, everything was fine. Tom seemed like a nice guy. We said hello in the hallway. We smiled. Just normal neighbor stuff. But then something started to happen, and it became a big problem for me. Okay, so here's what happened. Tom has a car, a big car, and our building has a parking lot. But the parking lot is small. Each apartment gets one parking space. Just one. My parking space is number 12. Tom's parking space is number 13, right next to mine. But here's the thing. Tom kept parking his car in my space. In space number 12. My space. The first time it happened, I thought, okay, maybe it's a mistake. Maybe he's new and he doesn't know which space is his. So I didn't say anything. I just parked on the street that night, but then it happened again. And again. 3 times in 1 week. Can you believe that? I was getting so frustrated. Every time I came home from work, tired, ready to relax, Tom's car was in my space, and I had to drive around looking for parking on the street, sometimes for 20 minutes. I'll be honest with you, I was angry, really angry. I wanted to leave a note on his car. A not-so-nice note, maybe something like, "Hey, this is my space. Move your car." But I didn't. I stopped myself because I knew that wouldn't be the right way to handle it. So I asked myself, what should I do? I talked to my friend Sarah about it. She's really good at dealing with difficult situations. She said, "Emma, you need to talk to him, face to face. Be polite but clear." And I thought, yeah, she's right. But how do I do that? I was nervous. I'm not good at confrontation. You know what confrontation means? It's when you have to talk to someone about a problem directly. It makes me uncomfortable, but I knew I had to do it. I couldn't just keep parking on the street forever, so I started planning what to say. I practiced in my head. "Hi, Tom. I need to talk to you about something." "No. That sounds too serious." "Hey, Tom, can we chat for a minute?" Better. More friendly. I wanted to be polite but also firm. That's important when you have a complaint. Okay, so here comes the interesting part. One Saturday morning, I saw Tom outside. He was washing his car. Perfect timing. I took a deep breath and walked over to him. My heart was beating fast. I said, "Hey, Tom, good morning." He looked up and smiled. "Oh, hey, Emma, how's it going?" He seemed friendly. That made me feel a little better. I said, "Good, good. Hey, do you have a minute? I wanted to talk to you about something." He said, "Sure, what's up?" This was it. The moment. I said, "Well, I noticed that sometimes your car is parked in space number 12. That's actually my parking space. Your space is number 13, right next to mine." I tried to say it with a friendly voice. Not angry. Just informative. Tom looked surprised. He said, "Oh, really? I'm so sorry. I had no idea." And you know what? I could tell he was being honest. He really didn't know. He continued, "The numbers on the ground are kind of faded, hard to see. I thought 13 was yours and 12 was mine." And suddenly, I understood. It wasn't that he was being rude or inconsiderate. He just made an honest mistake. The parking lot is old. The numbers are hard to read. Especially at night, I felt a little silly for being so angry before. I said, "Oh, I totally understand. Yeah, the numbers are pretty faded. No worries. I just wanted to let you know so we can avoid any confusion." See, I kept it light. I didn't make him feel bad. That's the key when you're making a polite complaint. You want to solve the problem, not create a bigger problem. Tom was really cool about it. He said, "Man, I'm really sorry about that. I probably made you park on the street, right?" I nodded. "Yeah, a few times. But it's okay now that we've talked about it." He felt bad. I could see it on his face. He said, "Let me make it up to you. How about I buy you a coffee sometime?" I smiled and said, "That sounds great. And hey, maybe we could put some tape or something to mark our spaces better, just so it's easier to see?" Tom loved that idea. He said, "Yes, I actually have some bright yellow tape in my garage. We could do it this afternoon if you're free." And that's exactly what we did. That afternoon, we both went to the parking lot with yellow tape. We made the numbers super clear. We even wrote our apartment numbers on small signs. Now there's no way to get confused. It looks much better. But here's the best part. While we were doing this, we started talking more. I learned that Tom works as a teacher. He teaches math at a high school. He loves basketball. He has a dog named Max. We actually have a lot in common. By the end of the afternoon, I felt like I made a new friend, not just solved a problem. So what did I learn from this experience? Let me share some important lessons with you. First, communication is everything. If I had just left an angry note or never said anything, the problem would have continued. Maybe we would have become enemies. But because I talked to him politely, we solved it quickly. Second, don't assume the worst about people. I was so angry. I thought Tom was being rude on purpose, but he wasn't. He just didn't know. Most people are not trying to make your life difficult. Sometimes they just don't have all the information. Third, timing matters. I waited for a good moment to talk to him. I didn't knock on his door late at night or catch him when he was rushing to work. I chose a relaxed time when he was outside, not busy. That made the conversation much easier. And fourth, always be polite but clear. You can be firm without being rude. I stated the problem clearly. Your car is in my space. But I did it with a friendly tone. I didn't attack him personally. I just addressed the situation. Let me give you some practical phrases you can use if you ever have a problem with a neighbor. These phrases are polite and effective. Ready? If you want to start the conversation, you can say, "Hey, do you have a minute? I wanted to talk to you about something." Or, "I hope this doesn't bother you, but I need to discuss something with you." When you explain the problem, use I statements. Don't say, "You always make noise." Instead say, "I've noticed some noise late at night, and it's been hard for me to sleep." See the difference? One sounds like an attack. The other sounds like you're just sharing your experience. If you want to suggest a solution, you can say, "What if we tried this?" Or maybe we could both agree to. This makes it feel like teamwork, not a demand. People respond better when they feel like they're part of the solution. And always, always say thank you at the end. Even if the conversation was difficult, say, "Thanks for taking the time to talk about this." Or, "I appreciate you being understanding." This keeps the relationship positive. Now, you might be thinking, "Okay, Emma, that's great, but what about other problems?" Good question. Let me talk about a few other common neighbor issues and how to handle them. Noise problems. This is probably the most common one. Maybe your neighbor plays loud music late at night, or they have a dog that barks all the time. The key is the same. Talk to them politely. Choose a calm moment. Say something like, "I've been hearing some noise in the evenings. I know you might not realize how thin the walls are. Would it be possible to keep it down after 10 p.m.? Trash problems. Maybe your neighbor leaves trash bags in the hallway, or they don't recycle properly." Again, approach it gently. You could say, "Hey, I noticed some trash bags outside. I wanted to let you know that building management asked us to keep the hallway clear. Can I help you find the trash room?" Pet problems. This one can be sensitive because people love their pets. If a neighbor's dog is causing issues, be very careful with your words. Don't insult their pet. Instead, focus on the specific behavior. "I love dogs. Your dog is so cute. I've just noticed he's been barking a lot when you're away. I wanted to mention it in case you didn't know. Actually, let me tell you another quick story. This happened to me about a year ago. I had a different neighbor problem. My upstairs neighbor, a young woman named Lisa, would play music every night. Really loud music, starting around 11 p.m. At first, I tried to ignore it. I thought, maybe she'll stop soon. But it continued, night after night. I was losing sleep. I had to wake up early for work, and I couldn't rest properly. After 2 weeks, I knew I had to say something. One evening, around 7 p.m., I went upstairs and knocked on her door. She opened it with a surprised look. I said, "Hi, I'm Emma from downstairs. I hope this is a good time." She said yes and invited me in. I kept it short and friendly. I said, "I wanted to talk to you about something. I've been hearing music late at night, and it's been a bit difficult for me to sleep. I have to wake up early for work. I know you probably don't realize how much sound travels between floors. Would it be possible to lower the volume after 10 p.m.? And you know what? She was super understanding. She said, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I work from home and my schedule is a bit different. I usually stay up late, but absolutely I'll keep it down. Thanks for letting me know." And from that night on, the problem was solved. No more loud music after 10. Here's something really important that many people forget. Your body language and tone of voice matter just as much as your words. When you're talking to a neighbor about a problem, how you say something is often more important than what you say. Keep your arms relaxed, not crossed. Crossed arms can look defensive or angry. Smile when appropriate. Make eye contact but don't stare too intensely. That can feel aggressive. Stand at a comfortable distance. Not too close, not too far. Your tone should be calm and friendly. Even if you're upset inside, try to sound relaxed. Speak slowly and clearly. Don't raise your voice. If you sound angry, the other person will become defensive, and then it's much harder to solve the problem. I like to start with something positive. Before I mention the problem, I might say something nice, like, "I really like your dog," or "I love the flowers you planted outside." This creates a friendly atmosphere. Then, when you mention the problem, it doesn't feel like an attack. Now, I have to be honest with you. Sometimes, being polite doesn't work. Some people won't listen, some people might get defensive or even angry. What do you do then? First, try one more time. Maybe write a friendly note if face-to-face didn't work. Keep it short and respectful. "Hi, Tom. I wanted to follow up on our conversation about the parking. I'd really appreciate it if you could make sure to park in space 13. Thanks for your understanding." If that still doesn't work, you might need to involve someone else. Talk to your building manager or landlord. Explain the situation calmly. Show that you tried to solve it yourself first. Most landlords appreciate tenants who try to work things out before coming to them. Document everything. Write down dates and times when the problem happened. Take photos if appropriate. This isn't because you want to cause trouble. It's just to have a clear record if you need it later. Keep copies of any notes or messages you sent. And in very rare cases, if it's a serious problem that affects your safety or violates building rules, you might need to consider official action. But that should always be the last resort. Most problems can be solved with good communication. One more thing I want to mention. In different cultures, people handle conflicts differently. In America, we tend to be pretty direct. We say what the problem is clearly, but we try to be polite about it. In some cultures, people are more indirect. They might hint at the problem instead of stating it directly. In other cultures, people might involve a third party to help mediate. There's no right or wrong way. It depends on where you are and who you're talking to. The important thing is to be respectful and considerate. Try to understand the other person's perspective. Maybe they come from a place where loud music at night is normal, or where parking rules are more flexible. Understanding doesn't mean you accept the behavior. It just means you approach the conversation with empathy. You know, the best way to handle neighbor problems is to prevent them from becoming big problems in the first place. And the way to do that is to build good relationships with your neighbors from the start. When someone new moves in, introduce yourself. Bring them cookies or a small welcome gift. Learn their names. Ask about their lives. Be friendly. When people feel connected to you, they're much more likely to be considerate. Tom and I are great friends now. We help each other all the time. Last month I was sick with the flu. He brought me soup and medicine. When he went on vacation, I fed his dog Max. We watch football games together sometimes. None of this would have happened if I had handled that parking situation badly. Good neighbors make life so much better. They can become real friends. They can help you in emergencies. They make your home feel like a community, not just a building. So invest in those relationships. It's worth it. So, let me wrap this up. That whole situation with Tom in the parking space taught me so much. It taught me about communication. It taught me about patience. And it taught me not to judge people too quickly. Living close to other people isn't always easy. Apartments, condos, shared spaces, there will always be small conflicts. But how you handle those conflicts makes all the difference. You can choose to be angry and make enemies. Or you can choose to be understanding and make friends. My advice to you? Always start with kindness. Assume the best about people until proven otherwise. Communicate clearly but politely. And remember, we're all just humans trying to live our lives. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we don't realize we're bothering someone. A simple, respectful conversation can solve almost anything. So, next time you have a problem with a neighbor, take a deep breath, plan what you want to say, choose a good time, and just talk to them. You might be surprised at how well it goes, and who knows, you might even make a new friend, just like I did. Remember these key things. Be polite but clear. Choose the right time. Use I statements instead of you statements. Suggest solutions together, and always end with gratitude. These simple tips can transform a difficult situation into a positive outcome. That's my story for today. I hope it was helpful for you. Remember, good communication is a skill. You can practice it, you can get better at it, and it will make your life so much easier. Living in harmony with your neighbors creates a peaceful, happy home environment. And that's something we all deserve. Thanks for listening to my story. Take care, everyone. See you next time.